Let us start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Tough times don't last. That means they don't exist. Tough people do. So, there's another saying already you have got. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. More or less the same. Now let us go to the enrichment part and see what is there to learn from today's editorial. Today's editorial is an important editorial. It is related to Indian economy. Any editorial related to economy is important because India is a third world country, a developing country, and the most important thing is development, that too, economic development. Now let us see the words. The first one we have got so many times, inevitable. What is the meaning of the word inevitable? Inevitable means likely to happen, unavoidable, imminent, impending. Hinge, a deciding factor, a determining factor. Stringent, we have got many a time. Very strict. Usually it goes with stringent measures, stringent policy, stringent rules. Abjure. Abjure means to relinquish, to leave something, to give up something. And discretionary, in this context, it means optional. Use your discretion means what? Use your judgment. It is something optional. Refrained. Refrain means abstain. To keep away from something, not to indulge in some activity. Omnibus. It means comprising several factors or several things. Mitigation, we have got many a time. Mitigate, to reduce, alleviate, assuage. All these words you have to recollect. Forsake has two meanings. One is abandon, the other one is to give up. And wanted, much talked about, much boasted. These are the words you are going to learn from today's editorial. And today also, new patterns. You are going to work on spot the errors. Two patterns, one the regular pattern, the other one a new pattern. You are going to work on parajumble, again a new pattern. You are going to work on word swap today. Word swap, a new exercise. Excuse me. You are going to work on questions from previous year's papers. Now, what is today's editorial? Steepest contraction of GDP. This is an important editorial, as I said. Whatever goes with economy, it is important. And usually in the exam, they do give passages related to Indian economy. Already I have given the concept sleeps, if you remember, all capital letters. The acronym SLEEPS. And the most important here, these are the 6 areas usually they touch in the exam. And the most important one is economy. Now let us see how it starts, how it goes about. This talks about something very bad, very negative. Economy point of view. Inevitable collapse. Collapse is a negative word, coming down. And usually it goes with a building. The building has collapsed. And sometimes we use it with economy. The economy has collapsed. Inevitable collapse. Unavoidable collapse. What is the reason? We all know the reason. The reason is COVID-19, the negative impact of the pandemic on steepest contraction of GDP. There's one word here, steepest. Usually it goes with steep means either the rise or fall of something. Steepest contraction. A rise or fall sharply. Usually it goes with mountains, mountain ranges. It also goes with prices. Steep increase in prices. Steep decrease in prices. Here steep contraction, very sharp contraction. So inevitable collapse on steepest contraction of GDP. With COVID-19 hitting private consumption, demand recovery will hinge on government spending. With COVID-19 hitting private consumption, what is the impact of this COVID-19 on the private consumption? Private consumption has come down drastically. Because of that, demand recovery will hinge on government spending. Demand recovery will depend on, there's one word here, hinge. Means what? Depend, a determining factor, a deciding factor. It will depend on government spending. So editorial talks about the impact of this COVID-19 on Indian economy. And this is all about almost, I can say, 50% of the editorial. It is all about the data, statistical data, the facts and figures related to different sectors. The second part of the editorial talks about what the government has to do, what it can do, what are the limitations. And there's one particular silver lining. one particular sector, it doesn't show negative growth. It shows positive growth, and that is agricultural sector. Now let us see. The inevitable has happened. The inevitable has happened. No one could stop it. India's GDP suffered its steepest contraction on record in the April-June quarter, as output shrank 23.9% from a year earlier, provisional data show. So this talks about to what extent it shrank. It shrank 23.9% to the extent of 23.9%. India's GDP suffered its steepest contraction on record in the April-June quarter, as output shrank 23.9% from a year earlier, provisional data show. It is evident that the stringent COVID-19 lockdowns in force through the first third of the quarter and substantially in May hollowed out demand. So what is the impact for this shrinking? It is evident that, it is obvious that the stringent COVID-19 lockdowns in force through the first third of the quarter and substantially in May hollowed out demand. Hollow, make something empty. Hollow, it goes with everyday English. What is the meaning of that? To make something empty. Private consumption. Now it talks about private consumption. And now on it is all data. Private consumption spending, which accounts for almost 60% of GDP, contracted 26.7% as consumers abjured almost all discretionary spending. There are two words here: abjure, relinquish, to stop doing, to give up something, and discretionary, optional spending. Private consumption spending, which accounts for 60% of GDP, a major share or a lion's share, contracted 26.7% as consumers abjured almost all discretionary spending. And exports, which contribute to a fifth of GDP and reflect overseas demand for Indian goods and services, shrank nearly by 20%. First, it is private consumption. As I said, this editorial is all about the data, statistical data, sector-wise. First, it starts with private consumption, and which contributes the lion's share, 60% of GDP, contracted 26.7%. Then the editorial goes to exports, which contribute to a fifth of GDP. That is also substantial and reflect overseas demand for Indian goods and services, shrank by 20%. Investment activity was the worst hit. Then it talks about investment activity. Investment activity was the worst hit, collapsing 47% and shrinking in share of GDP to about 22% from 32%. Shrinking to about 22% from 32%. A year earlier, as larger businesses, what is the reason? There are two factors. As larger businesses conserved cash and refrained from any capital spending in the face of uncertainty. And the other dimension, and smaller firms prioritized survival. For a lot of firms, survival the most important thing. So this talks about investment activity, an important sphere. Investment activity was the worst hit, collapsing 47% and shrinking in share of GDP to about 22% from 32% a year earlier. And the reasons, as larger businesses conserved cash and refrained from any capital spending in the face of uncertainty, and smaller firms prioritized survival. There's one word here, refrain. Refrain means abstain. Usually it goes with not getting indulged in something negative. Refrain from bad habits. Refrain from alcohol, a typical combination. Here, refrain from spending. Across the real economy, now the editorial talks about the silver lining. Across the real economy, every single industry and services sector shrank with a solitary exception. I think we have got this word solitary. What does it mean? Isolated. With the solitary exception of agriculture, which grew 3.4% and outpaced the year earlier quarter's 3% expansion. This is something positive. Across the real economy, every single industry and services sector shrank with solitary exception of agriculture, which grew 3.4% and outpaced the year earlier quarter's 3% expansion. Again, it talks about the negative other sectors, again negative. Construction suffered the most. Now it is construction sector. Construction suffered the most, plunging 50%, followed by the omnibus services category, comprising several factors. Construction suffered the most, plunging 50%, followed by the omnibus services category. What are they? Trade, hotels, communication, transport, and broadcasting, which shrank 47%, hit by the pandemic-linked restrictions. The worst hit, rather. Now it talks about manufacturing sector. Manufacturing too took a severe beating. Usually it goes with someone's reputation, someone's image. We say his image has taken a severe beating. Here it talks about the manufacturing sector. Manufacturing too took a severe beating, contracting 39% as demand for products deemed non-essential evaporated. Deemed means considered. Demand for products considered non-essential evaporated, completely disappeared. And factories, even after reopening, struggled to run amid shortages of labor and added safety norms. After reopening also, they had to face a lot of problems. Now the second part of the editorial talks about what the government has to do and the government expenditure and what are the limitations the government has. It was left to the government to keep the bottom from falling out on demand as the centre's pandemic mitigation expenditure helped expand its consumption spending by 16.4% year on year and softened the overall blow to GDP. So this consumption spending by 16.4% year on year and softened the overall blow to GDP because of government spending. And there is one government expenditure. There is one word here, mitigation. Mitigate means what? To reduce. And what are the synonyms? Alleviate, assuage. However, but there is a problem. However, with the fiscal deficit already having exceeded the full year's budgeted target in just the first 4 months and revenue receipts impacted by the economic contraction, the government is unlikely to maintain a similar trend. Not likely, unlikely to maintain a similar trend in expenditure growth over the next 3 quarters. It can't afford to spend because already it has exceeded, with the fiscal deficit already having exceeded the full year's budgeted target in just the first 4 months, and that is one problem. What is the other problem? Revenue receipts impacted by the economic contraction. The government is unlikely to maintain a similar trend, not likely to maintain a similar trend. Now it talks about a solution. Unless, of course, it is prepared to forsake its wanted fiscal conservatism. There are 2 words here. One is forsake, means to give up. One meaning to abandon, another to give up. And wanted, much boasted, much talked about, much floated. Unless, of course, it is prepared to forsake its wanted fiscal conservatism and finds innovative ways to mobilize resources. There are 2 dimensions to sort out the problem. One is the government has to forsake its wanted fiscal conservatism, and the other one, it has to find innovative ways to mobilize resources. The still rising trajectory of new COVID-19 infections and a high level of job losses and income erosion are also sure to retard any recovery in momentum. Immediate recovery is not possible. What are the reasons? The still rising trajectory of new COVID-19 infections and a high level of job losses and income erosion are also sure to stop. Retarded growth means what? Stunted growth. Any recovery in momentum. If the latest survey-based data from IHS Markit show manufacturing PMI for August signaling growth for the first time in 5 months, the same researchers' findings also stress that job shedding continues at a strong rate in the industry. There is something positive. At the same time, there is something negative when it comes to the manufacturing sector. What is positive? There is some growth that is positive, and what is negative? Job shedding continues at a strong rate in the manufacturing sector. Equally significantly, the output numbers which are expected to undergo revision, given the acknowledged difficulties in collecting data, do not capture a swathe of informal sector activity that was severely impacted. Already we have got this word, a vast area away from the towns and cities. And here it talks about something that is very large. Equally significantly, the output numbers which are expected to undergo revision. What is the reason? Given the acknowledged difficulties in collecting data, do not capture a swathe of informal sector activity. Not easy to catch information, get information regarding informal sector that was severely impacted. We all know that the informal sector got affected severely. Now, how does the editorial end? Before ending, it talks about agriculture. Agriculture too faces headwinds, opposing winds. Headwinds in the form of higher than ideal rainfall in August in several key crop-growing regions in western and central India, and with the impact of recent farm market ordinances yet to play out, it may be a while before the end of the tunnel is sighted. Agriculture, no negative impact because of this pandemic, but still there is a problem. What is it? Agriculture too faces headwinds in the form of higher than ideal rainfall in August in several key crop growing regions in western and central India, and with the impact of recent farm market ordinances yet to play out. It may be a while before the end of the tunnel is sighted. This is a good expression. What does it mean? It will take some time to see something positive. It may be a while, it may take some time before the end of the tunnel is sighted. Means what? Before we see something positive, before we see the growth. So this is all about the editorial, economy related and purely data based. But at the same time, it is important. If you look at the questions, you understand. Under pressure, what happens? Imagine you get an editorial like this as a passage in the exam. They may ask questions related to the data, statistical data. They may ask questions related to inference. They may ask questions, the solutions. So under pressure, not easy to remember the facts and figures, but you can always, based on the keywords, go and find out where exactly the information is. Now let us see what is the point of view. Inevitable, we have got many a time. Certain to happen, imminent, impending. Hinge, deciding factor. Stringent, it goes with rules and regulations. Means what? Strict. Hollowed, an empty space. To make abjured, relinquished. Relinquished usually goes with property and wealth and sometimes rights also. Abjured, relinquished, and responsibilities. Discretionary, optional. Refrain, abstained, keep away from something, usually negative. Omnibus, comprising several items. Mitigation, we have got many a time. Reduction, mitigate, to reduce, to alleviate, to assuage. Forsake, give up, or abandon. Wanted, praised or boasted about. Many of these words are new and worth spending time to remember. What are the phrases and what goes with effective English? The inevitable has happened. Something that cannot be stopped has happened. This is in present perfect tense. The inevitable, the unavoidable has happened. Usually this goes with a negative situation or a negative context, not positive. Consumers abjured almost all discretionary spending. Consumers abjured. New combination, new collocation. They relinquished what? Almost all discretionary spending. Use your discretion, a typical expression, means what? Use your judgment. Here discretionary means optional. Something is optional, they decided not to do it. And something is essential, definitely one has to spend money. So consumers abjured almost all discretionary spending. Nice words and different collocation. In the face of uncertainty, this is again an important phrase. In the face of difficulty, in the face of uncertainty, in the face of hardships, you can change the last word and create new phrases. It was left to the government, another important expression. It was left to the management. It was left to the top brass. It was left to the government. It was left to someone. Finds innovative ways to mobilize resources. An organization finds innovative ways, a typical collocation, for what purpose? to mobilize resources. Sure to retard any recovery in momentum. Retarded growth, a typical expression, and something is sure to retard any recovery in momentum. Retard means what? Stunt. Usually it goes with growth. Don't or do not capture a swathe of informal sector activity. This is an important phrase, a swathe of informal sector activity. This word we have got one editorial related to migrant workers. There we got this word. Do not capture or don't capture. It may be a while. That means what? It may take some time before the end is sighted. This is again idiomatic expression. Sighting the end of the tunnel means what? To see something positive. In this context, to see growth, to see progress. So these are all important expressions. Now these questions, definitely, this editorial, as I said, you have to read and you have to answer the questions. That will help in the long run. First, what is this editorial about? I insist you should write about this editorial in your own sentences. That will help definitely when it comes to the descriptive paper. How much does private consumption spending account for? What are the key words here? Private consumption spending, how much does it account for? Why was the investment activity the worst hit? Why? It talks about here how much. It talks about the quantity, the data. Why was? It talks about the reason. Why was the investment activity the worst hit? Across the real economy, which industry didn't shrink? One particular industry did not shrink. Across the real economy, which industry is that? Again, it talks about which industry. Among so many industries, which industry? It is like the choice. How many services come under the omnibus services category? How many talks about the number? And what are they? You have to list out. There are 5 services. You have to list out all the 5 services which come under omnibus services category. So these questions, as I said, it is better whenever you come across an editorial that goes with Indian economy, it is always better to read, spend some time, understand the editorial and answer the questions, write about the editorial in your own sentences. This practice will help in the long run. You can afford to leave other editorials, but you can't afford to leave any editorial that goes with Indian economy. Now let us go to grammar rule. The Mount Everest is a peak in the Himalayan mountain range. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? Before mountain ranges, we can use the definite article the. Already you have learned. The Himalayas, the Andes, the Alps. But before individual mountains, we cannot use any article. The Mount Everest. Mount Everest, an individual mountain, it does not take any article. So the should not be there. What is the correct sentence? Mount Everest is a peak in the Himalayan mountain range. The Himalayan mountain range. Here it should be there. Now let us go to the exercise. Let us start with vocabulary. Have a look at these words. Write the part of speech as usual. And then you go to the meaning. Oh, it's only 8:22. I guess I have done it very fast. What is the first one? Inevitable. Inevitable situation, inevitable happening, inevitable something. So obviously it has to be adjective. No, Bhanu Prakash, it does not buffer. What is the reason? It is a thing of the past. From my end, it will not buffer. It should be, the problem should be at your end, not at my end. Part of speech adjective, what is the meaning of that? Inevitable. E. Certain to happen or unavoidable. Perfect. A familiar word. And what is the next one? Hinge. Hinge could be a noun, could be a verb. Hinges on something, usually used as a verb. And what is the meaning of the second word? I. A deciding factor or a determining factor. Absolutely right. Stringent. Stringent means what? or stringent part of speech, within no time you should be able to answer. Adjective. As I said, it goes with rules and regulations. Obviously, it has to be an adjective. And what is the meaning of that? Very strict. Not only strict, very strict. Abjure. Obviously, abjured. No, Rajshekhar, it's not happen. The speed is 100 Mbps. It doesn't happen. It should not happen. Not at my end. Abjure part of speech verb. What does it mean? What is the answer? So many guys have responded. The fourth one, it is H, to give up or to relinquish. No, don't use give up here. Relinquish. Use J. You can use give up also, but when I gave the meaning, I said abjure, relinquish, and forsake, I said give up. Go to the fifth one, discretionary spending. Obviously, it has to be adjective. In this context, discretionary means what? I see a lot of guys are with the fourth option, and only some have gone to the seventh one. Fifth, it is B, optional. And refrain, obviously verb. Refrain, immediately you have to think of abstain. What does it mean? Not to get into something. Keep away from something. Abstain from alcohol. Abstain from bad habits. Refrain from heavy spending. Typical combinations. So answer is D. Omnibus, part of speech, omnibus category. That means it has to be adjective. And what is the meaning of that? Comprising several items. Comprising several items. Mitigation, mitigate verb. It's a regular verb. And mitigation, obviously it has to be noun. And what is the meaning of mitigation? Reduction, to reduce. Forsake, here you should use this one. Give up, part of speech, verb. Forsook, forsaken. You got to be careful with the three forms. And what is the last one? Wanted. In this context, it is adjective. What is the word left with? You're left with praised or boasted about. Wanted project, wanted stand, or wanted philosophy. Answer is A. These words, some of these words are really very important. One reason they go with, if you look at the context, they go with economy. All the words that go with economy, definitely important. Now let us go to wanted, praised, easy, boasted about. Boast, we also use the word brag. Boasting, bragging, both mean the same. And gloat over, important word. Brag, important. Boast, important. Extol, important word. Acclaim, you must be knowing. And reverence, from this you get reverence, an important word. So many words worth. I see a lot of students have got all the 10 correct. That is really good. I appreciate. Now let us go to spot the errors. And these questions are from previous year's papers. Previous year's papers, questions. Spot the errors. That's wonderful. All the 10 not that easy. Many students, if they are not good at English, they may get in the range of between 5 and 7. But getting 7 plus is outstanding. And getting all the 10, definitely. Very good. Reverential. Yes, Mohan, that is right. Reverence, reverential attitude. Please go to the next exercise, spot the errors. Where is the error? The sentence here, you see the verb did. It is used to emphasize. Only recently did the manager. Then you cannot say realized. You have to say realize. It should not be in the past. Only recently did the manager realize that the information provided to him by his employees was fabricated, created, not real. Fabricated, it goes with stories. Don't tell stories, don't fabricate stories. So here, only recently did the manager realize, affirmative form is what? The manager realized. And interrogative, did the manager realize? This is an important question. What is the reason? It goes with common errors. Past tense, affirmative, no one makes a mistake. But a lot of people make a mistake when it comes to past tense, interrogative and negative forms. They tend to use the verb in past. No, you cannot use. It should be in bare infinitive. Bare infinitive means what? The basic form without to. Now, where is the error? A lot of guys have answered the second question. In connection, the High Court on Friday refused to grant bail to the suspended IPS officer who has been in jail. Look at the paradox. IPS officer who has been in jail since May this year in connection with the fake encounter case. In connection with, that is a collocation. In connection with, a standard phrase. Now let us go to sentence number 3. Where is the error? The angry at being left out of the bonanza is palpable among employees of the organization. The angry at being left out. Not exactly. Not angry with. Why only 2 students have responded? This is an easy one. Bharat has got it right. After that, I see Pawan has got it right. Oh no. A lot of students have thought the angry with, that is not at all correct. Answer is the anger at being left out of the bonanza is palpable among employees of the organization. Not angry with. That is not grammatically correct. Contextual also, you cannot say the angry with being left out. Not correct. The anger at being left out. The anger for what? At being left out. A bit surprising. No problem. Please go to sentence number 4. His comments came after the research group said that its consumer confidence index was slumped to its lowest level. This is also an easy one. Anger is a noun. Angry is an adjective. He has a lot of anger inside him. He has what? A lot of anger. Here it is a noun. He is an angry young man. A typical expression goes with actors in the past. Amitabh Bachchan, known as angry young man. He would play those roles. Angry young man. Angry man, it is an adjective. That is a difference. One, anger is a noun. Angry is an adjective. Here it is index, confidence index. Then we cannot say were. And also, his comments came after the research group said that, the research group said that. That means reporting speech. It is in, the reporting verb is in past. Excuse me. Its consumer confidence index had slumped. It should be in past perfect. Actual statement, past tense. But when you change it to indirect speech, past changes to. Excuse me. Bad throat. Sorry about that. So here, it is related to indirect speech. Past changes to past perfect. What could be the actual statement? Actual statement, you should be able to guess. They said, comma, inverted commas, our consumer confidence index either slumped or has slumped to its lowest level. Slumped, past changes to past perfect. Has slumped. Again, present perfect changes to past perfect. Either way, it should be past perfect. Had slumped. Was slumped. It cannot be in passive voice. Who is this? 𝐒𝐿𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋. Was only. No, it cannot be. That is because we are all conditioned. When you saw singular index, you must have thought were. No, it cannot be were. It should be was. But you should understand the context. That's why I said that. When you see the words, when you see words like said, asked, commanded, ordered, told, warned, immediately requested, immediately you should think of reporting speech, indirect speech. Then you have to guess based on that. Let us go to the last sentence. There are just too few trains for the ever-growing number of passengers in the city. What is that? Okay, sir, you say so sorry, you're my master. Regarding what? I don't know what exactly you said, and for what you say, you are my master, I have to accept it. Condition, yes, predetermined or conditioned. We are all conditioned. When we see certain words, certain patterns, we respond the same way. There's a pattern in that. Nothing wrong with too few trains. Nothing wrong with this. Yes, Leo has got it right. After that, some more students. Ever growing, it is not here, ever growing number. It is also a standard phrase. What is it? Ever growing number or ever growing demand, ever growing. A typical expression, ever growing number, ever growing demand. So it should be not growing. Too few, nothing wrong with that. That's what I said. Too few trains, absolutely no problem. Now let us go to a new exercise. First you listen to me. You see text on two slides. This is the first slide. This is the second slide. It is an interesting article I have brought from Psychology Today. International context, American context. Interesting. For you guys especially, what is the reason? It is all about job interview. This will throw some sort of insight when it comes to job interview. Usually I tell students when it comes to interview tips, no one can judge your knowledge in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's practically impossible. It is not a test of knowledge, that is one thing. And to judge your personality in a matter of 10 or 15 minutes, it is again an uphill task, not easy. So listen to the instructions. First, you see we have two slides here. Slide 1 and slide 2. Each slide there are errors. The text. Here you have 4 errors. And here you have 3 errors. Your job is find out the errors. Please find out the errors. Respect every word, respect every letter. I'm giving the number. Here you have 4. What is the first one? To select, where is it? Oh, you have gone to the fag end of the text. Here, let us do in a systematic way. The job interview is a prominent feature of the American work landscape. Nothing wrong with this sentence. We have all sat through one of those, where do you see yourself in 5 years, conversation. One of those conversations. Here it is not conversation, it should be. One of those, where do you see yourself in 5 years, conversations. This is like an adjective phrase. Adjective, it is playing the role of an adjective. It's a phrase. And what is a noun? Conversation. It should be in the plural. What is the reason? The phrase is one of those. One of those conversations with a prospective employer or employee. Ostensible. It is not ostensible. Ostensibly, it should be in adverbial form, not adjective form, it should be adverbial. Ostensibly, such job interviews are designed to help. Help is a causative verb. Help and make. They don't take the preposition to. So, job interviews are designed to help select the best candidates for the job, the ones most likely to succeed. What is how many errors have you got? 1, 2, 3. What is the fourth one? Yes, that is the third one. Conversations, ostensibly, and 2 should not be there. What is the fourth? No one has got the fourth one. That is a bit surprising. Fourth one is rather easy. Yes, Bala Vishwanath has got it right. After that, Shivkumar, and after that, some more students, Nagamani also. Here we should not use the apostrophe. The ones, the one singular, the ones most likely to succeed. We should not use the apostrophe. That is a fourth error. Without apostrophe. Now let us go to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. Here you have to spot 3 errors. You need some time, definitely, but try to read meticulously. Respect every letter, respect every word. Yes, Lakshmi has got it right. The first one to spot the first error. It is not hopeless. It should be hopelessly. Hopelessly deficient and potentially harmful. We need to use an adverb, not an adjective. What is the first error? Hopelessly. That's very good. The traditional interview is a poor predictor of performance for multiple reasons. This is an easy one. Multiple reason is not correct. Multiple reasons. Second error. 1, 2. First, predicting the future is difficult to do under most circumstances. Moreover, an interview constitutes a tiny sample of the interviewee's behavior. Constitute reasons over already. Where is the third error? That is an easy one, should not be that difficult. No one has got it. Yes, Bharat has got it. Shivkumar has got it. After that, I see Geeta has got it. And Swarnarekha also. And Saina also. Here it is not constitutes. The letter S is missing. It is in present. Moreover, an interview. Present tense, subject is third person singular. We should add S or ES to the verb. These are the 3 errors. Total, has anyone got all the 7? 5 plus, highly appreciable. Now listen very carefully. Word swap, exam pattern, and I have brought for the first time this model. Here you see a sentence with 4 words in yellow color, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And some of these are not in the correct position, and you have to swap the words. And options are there. 1, 2 should be swapped, or 2, 4, or 2, 3, or 1, 3. 5 is also good, very good, highly appreciable. 5 is pretty good. You have done for the first time, getting 5, definitely you should be happy. What is the answer? Now listen very carefully. This is an important exercise. Word swap. You see 4 words and you have to change. I will try to do that, Kumar. Here a lot of students say D. What is D? All the witnesses have strongly agreed that And independent complicity doesn't sound right. Alleged doesn't sound right. And independent probe sounds right. And orchestration doesn't sound right. Now let us swap. All the witnesses have strongly agreed that an independent probe must be carried out against the alleged role, nothing wrong with that, and complicity of Facebook in the orchestration of Delhi riots. Perfect. This is right. Answer is what? 1-3. Which option says 1-3? Alleged role. Here alleged is an adjective. You cannot say allegedly. Allegedly is an adverb. Allege, verb. Alleging, verb. Alleged role. Alleged is an adjective. Easy to make out. Now let us go to... So what is the answer? D is the answer. Let us go to the next one. First you read the sentence. I've just answered. Alleged, adjective. Allegedly, adverb. Alleging, verb. Allege also verb. When we say alleged role, means what? Role is a noun, alleged adjective. That's what I've been talking about, Jude. I don't think it is actual name. I've just answered twice, not once, twice. Sentence, question number 2, some students say A, 1-2. Combining efforts of the crop insurance. Combining efforts of the crop insurance doesn't sound contextually right. Provisions of the crop insurance seems right. Compensate, combining compensate, not correct. Combining rehabilitation, not correct. Now let us swap. Combining efforts in the place of efforts, provisions. Combining provisions of the crop insurance scheme and the revenue book of circulars, all possible efforts, that seems right. All the possible efforts to compensate for the loss will be made besides arrangements for rehabilitation. Answer is A. 1-2 should be swapped. When it comes to word swapping, contextual awareness is very important. Grammar knowledge to some extent, but to a great extent, contextual awareness. You should understand the context, only then you can. Please read the third one. Rehabilitation means, imagine there's a problem. It goes with drug addicts. It also goes with those who got hit by a natural disaster. Someone is in distress, someone is in trouble. Then we take, when it comes to natural disasters, eviction. People are evicted from the place hit by a natural disaster and they are taken to rehabilitation centers. Means a place where you see the normal condition. When it comes to drug addicts, rehabilitation, some people get addicted to drugs. Then they are sent to rehabilitation centers. And they are also known as de-addiction wards. And they will undergo training to come out of that drug addiction. Sentence number 3, a lot of students say D. What is D? 3-4. In imposing a nominal fine of 1 rupee on Advocate Prashant Bhushan for criminal contempt of court, everything seems right. And in the event of default, asking him to serve a 3-month simple prison term and be bailed for 3 years, it doesn't sound right. Let us swap here. B, debarred for 3 years from legal practice. Debarred from legal practice, that is right. The Supreme Court has bared its dark, intolerant side. Yes, it is 3-4. Answer is D. Here, bare means to get exposed. What is the meaning? You got to be careful. This is an important word. Bare, bore, that is one. But here, bare, bared means what? Bare means not covered, to get exposed. Now let us go to sentence number 4. That's what I said. Bare means not covered. Get exposed. In this context, to get exposed. The Supreme Court has exposed itself. Please go to sentence number 4. We are running out of time. Please go to sentence number 4. Tell me where the error is. Or what is the answer? Not error. Where to swap the words. Someone says A, someone says, Rajshekhar says C, and Malyadri says 4, that is D. Deforestation pressure, due to which the slash and burn or zoom cycle has reduced in forest areas. Deforestation pressure, that doesn't sound right at the outset. Regeneration pressure, creeping pressure, no. Population pressure. So what could be the right word here? Population pressure. And let us cross-check, we can swap or not. Conversion of forest to cultivated land are both major drivers of deforestation. Creeping conversion of forest to cultivated land are both major drivers of deforestation. This seems right. Let us hold that one. 1 and 4. Population pressure. Haven't confirmed. Population pressure, due to which the slash and burn or zoom cycle has reduced in forest areas from 17 to 20 years to 2 to 3 years, giving no time for forest regeneration. Forest regeneration, no time for forest regeneration, that is right. And creeping conversion, this is also right, of forest to cultivated land are both major drivers of deforestation. Answer is 1, 4. Deforestation comes here and population goes there. Which option says 1, 4? Based on that, the answer is the second option. B is the answer, not D. B is the answer. This is an interesting sentence from yesterday's paper, but there's something to learn. That's the reason why I have brought this. Now go to sentence number 5. A rare inscription dating back to the 𝐏𝐑𝐃𝐈𝐀 era has been kindled in a remote village of Kadapa district that has unearthed interest among the fraternity of archaeology and history. Fraternity, brotherhood, the group. Mohan, what is this question? Sir, you are from? All of a sudden. But the answer for that, Hyderabad. If you are curious, inquisitive, I am from Hyderabad. Right now, I am based in Hyderabad, but born and brought up in Visakhapatnam, Vizag. It has 3 names, Visakhapatnam, Vizag, and Voltaire. I was born and brought up there, but right now based in Hyderabad. So, what is the answer? A rare inscription dating back to, there's nothing wrong with this. Yes, that's right. And it is known as a city of destiny. And it was the fastest developing city in the entire world way back in 1981. Fastest developing city in the world, 1981. Here, a rare inscription, nothing wrong, dating back to the 𝐏𝐑𝐃𝐈𝐀 era has been kindled. No. Inscription usually unearthed. So this should come here. In a remote village of Kadapa district that has kindled interest. A typical combination. Kindle interest. That's a standard phrase. Interest among the fraternity, the group, the brotherhood, fraternity of archaeology and history. So here 2, 3, which option says 2 and 3? Thank you very much. So, kindled interest, yes. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? I am rather curious. Word swap. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? So we are running out of time. It's already 8:54. And let us go to the next exercise, scrambled sentences. All the 5, very good, Sai Kiran. 4 is also pretty good. Naveshri also all the 5. That's highly appreciable. And Veera also all the 5. And I see Saina also all the 5. Wonderful. Shyamala also. And Upendra, Lavanya. A lot of students have got all the 5. And Ram also. That's wonderful. Lakshmi as well. Shruti. And Ramadevi. And Shasta Kumar. Please go to the next exercise. I'm giving you guys time. Bharat also. And Pooja Singh Tomar also. Good. That's wonderful. Scrambled sentences. What are scrambled sentences? You see a sentence divided into parts, but they are not in the correct order. You should get the correct order. So what is the order? Oh, my student. Okay, fine. That's good. 3421. 3241. Let us check. How does it start? 3. The coronavirus pandemic induced deterioration where? In growth and fiscal dynamics. Here it should be 3-2. The coronavirus pandemic induced deterioration. Ask the question where? In growth and fiscal dynamics will leave most large emerging market sovereigns with higher debt burdens over the next few years. So it should be 3241. No, will leave most large emerging market sovereigns leave with what? With higher debt burdens over the next few years. Answer is 3241. No second thoughts. Let us go to the second sentence. Sentence number 2, what is the correct order? Are you guys working on the second one? You need some time, I do understand. Answer will be posted today. I just wanted to see, I don't know how many of you have seen that. I wanted to see the response. Today I'll be posting the answers for that. I will also post idioms and phrasal verbs. Not both vocabulary plus idioms or vocabulary plus phrasal verbs. The second one, I see a lot of students say 2413. Let us cross-check. India's record contraction last quarter sets back economic progress by several years and puts Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ambitious targets of doubling the economy size to $5 trillion almost out of reach. So here India's record contraction last quarter sets back 2-4 and puts 1 and the last sentence 3. 2413 is correct. Perfect. Sentence number 3. Name English by Murthy sir. That is the name of the group. After the session, go to the description of the video. There you find the link. Click on the link. And it is not interactive. You can receive information, but you cannot post anything. Which one? Scrambled sentences. Okay. Please work on sentence number 3. A lot of students say 2431. Let us check. The Adani Group will accelerate growth of its clean energy business by building partnerships with global integrated energy players. No, I don't think that is right. The Adani Group will accelerate growth of its clean energy business by building partnerships. Okay, this seems right. with global integrated energy players, okay, data center providers and industrialists. Industrials, that's right. Answer is 2431. Industrials means shares invested in a particular company. Industrialist, a different word. So 2431 is correct. Let us go to the next sentence. Please go to sentence number 4. It's already 8:59. Now people will start leaving. I wanted to wind up by 9, but today I think we are going to be late. The last one should not be that difficult. It's like a cakewalk or catwalk. 𝐒𝐃𝐈𝐀. You mean cakewalk? The last one, no, it is not. 1432. The unorganized sector. A lot, then you should look at the hyphen. A lot of MSMEs and small corporates will be faced by the financials. No. The unorganized sector, then you have this 1-3, is struggling. Is struggling, and the brunt of that will be faced by the financials. What is the answer? 1342. No. 1342. Kamala has got it right. Who else? It is 1342. Only one student I see. 1342. 𝐒𝐃𝐈𝐀 has got it right. After that, I see a lot of students. Kumari, then Venkata also Rajashekar. Very good. I appreciate all those students. Now let us go to, still parajumble. It may take another 5 minutes. Is that okay? Shall I continue? We have, I think, a parajumble, then, okay. Would you like to work on the new pattern parajumble? First, you listen to me. This is a parajumble. And what is the topic sentence? You got this yesterday. And what is the concluding sentence you got yesterday? But here, if A is the third sentence, what is the second sentence? And what is the fourth? A new pattern. So, if you want me to continue, please have a look at this parajumble. Try to read quickly and look at the answers. Thank you very much. Who is that? Hemant. Nice of you to say that. Please go to the parajumble. Look at the questions. What is a topic sentence? Try to get the topic sentence by taking the elimination approach. Already I have given a few tips how to eliminate and get the topic sentence. Yes, that's what I'm doing. What is a topic sentence? C. Opinions about when the pandemic will end are like mouths. Everyone has one. Absolutely right. This is the first sentence or the topic sentence. It presents the main idea. What is a topic sentence? Has the main idea. Everyone has an opinion. Opinions about when the pandemic will end are like mouths. Everyone has one. Now look at the second question. I find it not because I have brought the question. Otherwise also it is a new pattern. And remember, once or twice they have given something like that. Who is this? Mohit. Good morning, sir. I am new student. Good morning, Mohit. Welcome to this platform. So, if A is the third sentence, what is the second sentence? And what is the fourth sentence? A is the second sentence. I'm sorry, if A is the third sentence. A is the third sentence. Then what is the second sentence? And what is the fourth sentence? Color cannot be changed. Background cannot be changed. There are reasons for that. All are black. I can't help it. Background black, we cannot change. I've seen that message. I'm sorry, we cannot change. So what is the answer? A is the third one. What is the second? Opinions about when the pandemic will end are like mouths. Everyone has one. While optimists predict a flattening, E is the second one. Pessimist, third one. What is the fourth one? What is a... I should have given. What is the fourth one? E. No, E is the second one. Fourth is D. No, I don't think so. Fourth one is B. Now what is the concluding sentence? F is the concluding sentence. This is the last one. Concluding sentence. F is the concluding sentence. No. Opinions about when the pandemic will end are like mouths. Everyone has one. While optimists predict a flattening of the curve and a workable vaccine within 6 months, pessimists forecast that we will be flattened by the curve and will never return to our pre-pandemic way of life. So which is better? To be an optimist and maintain a strong sense of hope, or, where is or? A pessimist? Then finally, it is better to be a realist. This is the correct order. Now let us go. What is the correct order? I will show. Opinions about, this is the first sentence. While optimists, then you have to use pessimists. So which is better, a question, to be an optimist or to be a pessimist? Hope you guys are listening very carefully. And what is the last one? It is better to be a realist, neither optimist nor pessimist. What is the meaning of optimist? A person who has a positive attitude, optimist. A person who has a negative attitude, pessimist. Okay, fine. The last slide, then I will wind up the session. Headlines from today's paper. Write the related words. Ivory seized. You should write words related to animals, plants, plant products, animal products, environment, all the related words. Confiscation, poaching, contraband, extinction, endangered, all these words. My pleasure, Sai Kiran. And the second, evacuated from flood-hit Vidarbha. As I said, evacuation goes with natural disasters. So write the words that go with natural disasters. Natural disaster, catastrophe, evacuated, rehabilitation, all the related words you have to write. And politics of hate speech. Write words related to speech, public speaking, and crystal clear speech, impact-making speech, thought-provoking speech, enriching speech. You could write all the related words. And moratorium means what? Temporary suspension. But it goes with loan moratorium. So write words, because you're all prospective bankers, write words related to loan, debt, and insolvency, bankruptcy, recovery, all the words related to loan and banking terms important. Mortgage, you could write that also. It's not mortgage. T is silent, mortgage. So rhetoric, you could write that word also. Public speaking, all related words. That's all for today. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow with another editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Hope you guys have got enriched with the new patterns, new exercises. I'm sure they're quite challenging. I don't want to talk about all the notifications and all. Please excuse me. Generally also, I tell students, I always focus on teaching. I don't focus on the postings, the number of posts, or the number of vacancies. I don't focus on those aspects, which bank or how many openings are there. Frankly speaking, I want to be on one particular track. That track is teaching track. And that is a different track altogether. And the right person for that, Sudhir sir is the right person, Sridhar sir is the right person. They are the right people. They have so much information and so many years of experience. They are the right people to guide or say something about the bank, a particular bank, or the number of posts, or the region, or a state. I am not the right person. I am only for teaching. That's my job. To that extent, I am sure I don't let you guys down. That's all. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.